This is John Brush, Assistant AD for Communications at the Citadel, and you're listening to the Inside Blitz with Levon Kirkland.
Hello, welcome back to the Wyatt Law Studios. This is the Inside Blitz with Levon Kirkland, and today we're doing our college football preview show. And right now, we go down to the low country, and we're talking to John Brush with the Citadel. John, how are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing really good. I appreciate you guys taking the time to talk with me.
Man, we really appreciate you. So you ready to go into the meat and potatoes of this interview?
I certainly am.
All right, here we go. Did you have a name for your first car?
You know what? I did not. To be honest with you, I was just happy when I got in that thing and it turned on and I got to where I was going and where I was trying to get back from. That was pretty much it. My second car was nicknamed the Turtle, so I guess I could say I can claim that as my first one and go with the Turtle on that one.
So why did you call it the Turtle?
It was kind of a darker green in color, and that's kind of where it all started. But I was the one that, you know, when I had that one early on in college, I was one of the few people that had a car, so everybody kind of piled into that. So I think that's kind of where I got the name, is everybody kind of got underneath in that shell there.
Right.
And everybody kind of piled in and piled out, so it kind of got the name of the Turtle.
I think everybody's been through that, where everybody kind of piles into one car. So you were that guy, huh?
I was that guy. Good or bad, I was that guy.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now, give our audience a brief summary of the upcoming season.
Yeah, most definitely. You know, this season could be a very good season down here in the Low Country. You know, we got a lot of guys coming back on the offensive side of the ball, and we got a new defensive coordinator and Tony Grantham that came in and changed some things up. And, you know, we got the personnel in place. You know, if we can stay healthy and a few bounces of the ball go our way, it could be a very successful season. Okay,
good. Now, could you let us know some of the players that we need to kind of watch out for this year?
Yeah, starting on the offensive side of the ball, our entire offense runs through our quarterback and Brandon Rainey. He took over last year, the final 4 games of the season. You know, we went 3-1 over that stretch, with that only loss being to Alabama. So, you know, in his 4 games that he started, he averaged 132.5 yards a game, while our offense as a whole averaged a little bit over 317. So he's kind of the straw that stirs the drink with our offense. You know, he's got a great understanding of the offense. 2 years ago, he was the starting B-back in this offense, so he kind of has an understanding of what everybody's role is. You know, he's kind of taken on a big leadership role this year that started in the spring and has carried over through camp. And you know, the team's kind of followed him, and he was most recently named the offensive captain for this team. So, you know, what he's done throughout the offseason and in the last season is going noticed by his teammates. You know, and behind him, one of the unknown factors in our offense is going to be our B-back this year, Clay Harris. You know, he got probably about 100 carries last year, was very successful in his opportunities. You know, he had 1 start last year, and he ended up running for 125 yards in that game. So he's got a lot of capabilities, and I think he's going to kind of come on the scene this year, and people are going to kind of know who he is, and he's going to become a household name. And, you know, with both Rainey and Clay, it doesn't start unless you have the big guys up front. And, you know, we returned 4 starters on the offensive line, so that's very big. There are 3 of the guys are going into their 3rd year as a starter, while our center's in the 2nd year as a starter. He was a freshman All-American last year. So, you know, there's plenty of talent up front, and, you know, we've been in the top 10 in the country in rushing each of the last 8 years, so I could see this year being no different, with us being up around that 300 yards a game average. Defensively, up front, all-conference defensive end Joe Randolph, 3-year starter, led the team last year with 14 tackles for loss, so he's, you know, had a great offseason, kind of developed into a leader defensively, and he'll kind of be the stout guy up front. And our linebacker core, another preseason all-conference guy, Willie Eubanks, was our leading tackler last year, and he'll be joined on the inside this year by Aaron Reed, who's a graduate transfer from Southern Illinois. You know, Aaron started, I believe, played in about 30 games in Southern Illinois and played a lot there. So he's come in, fit right into our camp. He's become a big part of our team right now, and he's going to fill that void that we had at that inside spot. And, you know, on the back end, we're young, but we're experienced. Looking at our 4 starters right now, you know, we've got 3 sophomores and a junior in there, but all 4 of those guys have starting experience. So although they are young, they've gotten plenty of game reps. So that they're only going to continue to get better. And special teams wise, probably one of the better units you'll see at this level of football. We got an All-American punter and Matt Campbell. We got our long snapper that's back for his 5th year, and our field goal kicker went 14 of 16 last year. So we're kind of, we took a step forward in special teams last year. We also blocked 4 punts. So, we're kind of developing in all aspects, in all areas of the game right now.
Sounds like your kicker could start for the Chicago Bears.
He may get a chance here. We got him for 3 more years.
Thanks for coming on, John. This is Mike Foster. We appreciate the opportunity to talk with you and learn a little bit more about the Citadel. Obviously, there's a lot of talk about Wofford and Furman up here in the upstate, and feels like the Citadel's kind of is not getting as much hype as maybe they should. And so I appreciate you repping the Citadel Bulldogs a little bit and trying to even out the score a little bit. But tell us a little bit about Coach Thompson. He's not starting to throw the ball around a little bit more. We talked with Wofford. They said that they're going to be throwing the ball around a little bit more, and Georgia Tech is going to try and do that too. So all these triple option guys are trying to add the passing game to the mix. Is Brent planning on adding a little bit more passing to the game?
I would say that if you came out to practice this preseason, you would say yes. But when it comes to the games, I don't see us throwing the ball much more than we did last year. If you look at our numbers from last season, once Brandon took over, our number of throws that we had over those final 4 games was not very many. I think in his first start at Western Carolina, he threw 1 pass. At Alabama, he threw 2. So he's not going to throw the ball very much. He's more of a runner. But, in our last game against Charleston Southern, he did throw the ball 8 or 9 times. So, I guess you can say maybe we opened it up and aired it out a little bit in that last game. But, I would say if we throw the ball more than 10 to 12 times a game, that may be a surprise.
Wow, that's like the late 80s and early 90s football there. Throw it 10 times, run it 100 times.
We're going to line it up and we're going to run the options. If you stop it, then we'll get creative, and that's when we may have to throw a pass.
Gotcha.
Good. Hey, John, if you look at your schedule, and I was going to come to a game, what would be the best game to come to this year?
I would say probably would be the VMI game.
Mm-hmm.
Just because everything that goes into that game, it's kind of the FCS version of the Army-Navy game.
Right.
Last year we took probably 600 of our freshmen up there to that game, and they had all their cadets on the other side. So it kind of goes back and forth between them during the game. So we're hoping, we're not sure yet if they're going to bring, their freshmen up this year. So, if they do that, it makes just a great atmosphere where you've got both sides going back and forth throughout the game. A lot of it is involved with the game, but a lot of it is not going on with what's going on in the game. It's just the cadets on both sides going back and forth. So, it just makes for a great atmosphere. It's a trophy game. It's a rivalry game. So, you can always throw the records out the window when that happens.
Mm-hmm.
When you line up something interesting is always going to happen.
Now, what's the date of that game?
That game is October 5th.
October 5th, okay. So you're going to have a ticket ready for the crew? John?
All you got to do is say you'll be here, and we'll have plenty of tickets available.
John, you are okay with me. They did, some guys didn't want to interview you, but I thought, man, we got to get John Bush on this.
I must have been Mike, because I'm a big Citadel guy.
That sounds like a Mike. That sounds like a Mike kind of thing.
We've been honored to work with the Citadel. Very impressed with the Citadel, and I tell you what, that network that you guys have down there is second to none.
We do what we can with everything down here, and we make sure that what we're doing, everybody knows about it.
Very impressive group, and certainly we have a lot of respect for the military here with the Inside Blitz and the South Carolina Football Hall of Fame, and it's an honor to have the Citadel represented today, and we appreciate you doing so, John.
No problem. I enjoyed it.
No doubt about that. Now, John, before you go, how's the best way fans can follow the program and how to get tickets?
The best way to follow the program online is our website at citadelsports.com, and for tickets, it's citadelsports.com/tickets. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Citadel Football. And all of our information is on both of those sites, are readily available for anybody who wants to take a look at it.
Well, cool. John, I hope you guys have a great season. Looking forward to watching you guys play. Thank you so much for your time and your energy, and we'll talk with you later.
All right. I appreciate it, guys. You take care.
All right.
Thanks,
Thank you, John. Appreciate it.
No problem.
All right. Great interview there with the Citadel, the Bulldogs. Great to have them on. And I tell you, it's not the easiest place to recruit down there because of the extra things that the athletes have to go through in order to compete. And I've been impressed with that and looking forward to that season. So,
just ask Paul McGuire.
That's right. Ask for Paul McGuire. Yeah.
Was Paul? Yeah, he was in the Citadel. He did go to the Citadel.
He went to the Citadel, and he was recruited there, but no one told him it was a military school.
Yeah.
So he arrived, and he was like, what's going on?
Man, probably made him a better man.
Do you know who he was recruited by?
Who?
He was recruited by the Oakland Raiders.
Al Davis.
Al Davis?
Yeah, he was an assistant at the Citadel at the time, and he recruited Paul.
Just win, baby.
And didn't tell him what the...
When Paul got inducted, when he accepted, that was part of his induction speech. He talked about that. But anyway,
that's a great story.
Yeah, it is a great story, and he is a great member of our Hall of Fame. And what an incredible career he had, not only on the field but also in the broadcast booth. And it's exciting. So, at any rate, thank you all for listening in, and stick around, and we'll be right back. You're listening to the Inside Blitz.